ladies, we're back.
Hey,
It's mom proof.
Long time no
Mom
see.
proof. I know,
We're
right?
doing this again. The art of being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Do you think our kids are comfortable with the uncomfortable yet?
Well, her kids are the age range. You can't put that in one category. Our young adults.
Oh, okay. I'll
Yeah.
say teenagers because I'm.
Okay.
Remember, it was this time last year that we were waiting to see where the kids were going to go to school. They were a nervous wreck. Everything was the last thing.
Oh my gosh.
That's the last time I can ever go to Starbucks, Mom, with this group of friends. No, she wasn't
said
that
to
bad.
me. A client just said that to me because that is legitimately how they're feeling. And it is that
Right?
time of year.
Yeah, 2 fists, Kathleen.
I know it's just so low.
How low can you go?
If you're watching, thank you. Yeah, I think that they all definitely have a need to be involved with someone positive like us. That's why they're watching this podcast. None of our kids are watching this podcast. Of course,
You know what? It's going to become required listening here pretty soon before I pay your tuition next. Yes. Speaking of, yes. Speaking of paying tuition, okay, I will say kudos to my kids. I have 6 of them. They're doing pretty good with some budgeting stuff. I mean, everybody's got their strengths, right? But I was thinking about that because you had mentioned something about you have a card that you pull for one of your younger kids to just say,
yes.
Are you ready? Here's laundry. Are you ready to, here's $100. Do you put it in the checking or savings?
Big time.
So are we continuing to talk to our kids about finances and those that are off in the world, how they feel about it? How are they doing? I mean, if I see one more Fetty charge, I mean, I'm cool. Don't stop Fetting because I love the Uber. I don't care how much Uber is. Don't drink and drive.
Right.
Right.
But man, Uber Eats, that's another story.
That's a whole other.
I think my kid definitely, college has gotten much better from when we started to now. Like as far as budgeting, she knows now how much money she has and what she's gotten on a rhythm of what she can and can't do. Yeah. But the one thing is I stopped seeing Uber charges on my card. And so, but then I found out apparently her dad gave her his account. So I was like, so it's not that she's Ubering less. Now,
so score for you.
Okay, that's funny. But so those of us that are single parents, and if Uber charge disappears,
that is an indication. There's a red flag there. So good for you to investigate. Where's the
way
Uber?
to go?
What happened?
Parenting check mark.
Yeah, but then I was like, okay, good. At least as long as you're covered, I'm good. Because that's exactly one of those things. Is like you know, we have to get home or you have to be safe. So let's keep Uber.
Right. Yeah. And I think, to help them get those skills prior is so much more important. Like, I think that's what I'm noticing on the second one is like, wow, let's not give up that last 18 months without really intentionally. And I know y'all talked about it. We talked about it when they were, spring seniors.
Right.
But there were girls too. And there's something about this second one being a boy, and I'm just more aware, but we are doing a little bit of a card thing.
So what are some of the things that you ask?
His capacities that we're building are like changing a light bulb. We need new toilet seats on the toilet.
That's like an Aggie joke, right?
How many Aggies does it take? 4.
That was for you.
1
Eric.
to hold the light bulb and 3 to spin the guy.
Ladder.
Yes, spin the ladder. Yes. Does he know how to can he pump air in his tire? Does he know how to check the tire gauge? And then some of them are home too. Like, I want to see you make your school lunch. Which of course he doesn't eat because he goes off campus.
I think that's a good reminder for parents, and whether your kid is about to go off to college or not.
But Colin's over there making dinner.
I know. Man. Well, he made like avocado toast.
Yeah,
thanks. You've done.
But he likes
really good.
You've done good.
But that's what he likes, and not all kids like that.
Like being in the kitchen.
Yeah,
right.
Hey, you may have a chef on
you have one of those.
Yeah, but I do like that. I mean, I think we get so caught up in grades or extracurricular activities or making sure everybody's okay. Like, can you change a light bulb?
I found a list, and I'm going to make sure Sandra can post this. And it was like what your kids should know or do before I just found this list. It's 2-sided.
Oh.
And Gary and I just quickly scanned it, and we were like, wow, he's weak on these things. And they were a lot of them basics. But, okay, look, he's already got these ones down. It was really cool. I want to get that out there for our listeners.
That sounds like the list we got before the kids went into high school. Like they need to be prepared for some of these things. Can they do this and this?
But it's the whole.
I kind of like a life checklist.
I think
that is just not bad. I mean, I have
what would they have by our age? What would our age?
Oh, God.
What would our checklist be? Oh, let's see.
Or is that more like a bucket list at our age?
Well, I heard something the other day that was really interesting that I mean, I didn't know this and I'm past it. So, but for younger women, it was your cycle when you should be doing certain things. Like, for example, strenuous workouts. There's a certain time that you should do it, and when you shouldn't do it, right? Or different things that you're empowered to do because you're in the cycle. So it's like
talking about menstrual cycle.
Yes,
just make sure I'm on the same page.
Yes, no,
it's been so long.
I was at spin yesterday, so I was in.
But it's stuff that we don't talk about, I think, and that we don't teach. Like I never taught my daughter any of those things. As a matter of fact, I don't even know when this person was talking about this, and it's just basically like getting more out of what you're doing when you're in your phase. Yeah.
Good one.
Well, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Into that and come back.
I totally want to talk about that.
That's probably really important too to talk about.
Maybe our health coach could also talk with us about that we were hoping to bring on.
That's a great idea. Let's do that.
That's really good. Let's lock that in.
Yeah, because it was stuff that I was like, wow, if somebody would have told me that, then it would have really helped me. Or like the other thing I learned is I used to do this boot camp and I was like getting really stressed out about it. And someone said, when you're going through a transition emotionally, that you're trying to like, do a lot of nervous system work or whatnot, that is not a good exercise to be doing.
Ooh,
because it totally puts a lot of stress on your body.
Hey, why don't people tell us those things?
Well,
I think it's the new science. I do think it's the new science. So it's now the more people we can tell, and she's got a new class, and this, let's just keep sharing.
Yeah. Because I was feeling very overwhelmed, and I was like, I know that I really enjoyed it, but now I'm just so like it was stressing me out. And the moment
that is really important.
The moment you're not taking boot camp right now, then.
No, and I feel a lot better. And actually, I started to feel stronger. But it was because it was weighing on my body. It was just straining my body.
Yeah, when your body was already in not necessarily a space to have that extra stress, physical, like literally this time.
And I didn't make the connection, but that's when they say your mind and body, what that really means is like my body was trying to tell me,
oh my God, I love
that I shouldn't have been doing that type of workout.
Paying attention.
Yeah.
The intuition is in a sense as well. I mean, you have great intuition.
I do. I feel like I do. And I've worked very hard. It was a natural thing for me early on, but I listen to my intuition.
Yeah.
If something doesn't feel right, look right, sound right, it's not even fight or flight for me anymore.
No,
I understand it so much. Yeah. I'm processing, I'm deciding. And when I'm really making that decision, it's like, oh.
It's so Scorpion too. I know. Right. But you also have that gift regardless. Take our Scorpion out, but she's in there too. I think that is amazing to teach people and our boys too.
And talk to our kids too.
Yeah.
Right. And they must feel like that. That makes sense if you've got, let's say you've got a sophomore athlete.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they don't want to go. They don't want to do the sport anymore.
Can you imagine if a parent understood that instead of like?
I wish I understood that. I mean, I pushed one of my kids. You're going to love it once you get back in. But sorry.
Don't do that to yourself.
I'm over it. But it just makes sense because if we would let them listen sometimes as a parent and let them follow their intuition when they're feeling something like that. Imagine the empowerment, number one, that would give them.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity to actually grow and learn to listen to them.
Not say, are you going back to college?
Yes.
So he would listen to his voice. Now that voice may have been somewhat created by your, what's the word I'm landing on? Just adding to his unconscious mind, you were definitely there. But the fact that he came out with it on his own from the last episode, when your kid said, I'm going back to college.
Yeah.
That's intuition, the way it looked for him.
And I think it's because we've been taught that you push through it. And when you think about that, pushing through something is not the answer. That's not
old
how
school.
You get somewhere. And I do have a friend whose son went to college. He was a freshman and decided last minute that over the Christmas break told his dad he wasn't going back to school. And, the dad obviously was like not happy with the decision, but what can you do? You can't force an 18-year-old to go do something. Well, this young man went and got a job 3 months later with an airline. And now he's working and he really wants to be a pilot. And he found out that they have a pilot school. But my point with all this is that he feels like he's in the direction that he needs to be in.
Like when we had Peyton Medina on here. I mean, just giving them the space to, the intuition.
But I thought it was interesting because
self-talk.
When he first told me this, I was like, no way, I'd make my kid go back to school, rah, rah, rah.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I see the outcome, it's like, oh my God, that person is just so much happier with what he wants to do. And he's doing something to get to where he's going to be successful. And maybe the route that the parents had chosen was not the right one for him, but he did find another one.
That's so good.
So I was like, that's when you say, listen to your kids, let them make their mistakes, make them use their intuition.
We just rescue so much. I mean, that's part of a theory about why suicide rate it's a nice big spike in college. I was just listening to a podcast about a college up in the East Coast that had 5 or 6 suicides within like a 6-month period, and how they analyzed that. They were just like obviously devastated, and they brought in researchers from all over the country to work with the community and the students. And it was just so interesting to have it come back to a feeling of like helplessness, that when there were hiccups or there were moments where the kids didn't feel on top of their game, or just, they didn't know how to fail forward, how to sit in error, how to sit in unease.
Right.
And it's just, it's hard. It's hard as parents because we don't want to see it, right?
That's
so we go and we try
and we want to fix it.
We want to fix it. Okay. So if we can let them struggle and find their way back to college, or they stop after the first semester, or you have one that may not want to go at all, we have to listen and watch it unfold.
Yeah.
Remember how we would say that?
Yeah.
Witness the struggle.
Yes. Yes. And as you're going through it, some of the things I just read something lately. This is really cool. And just, it goes back to being comfortable with being uncomfortable. As funny as that if it's a cliche, it is, or whatever. But the fact is, when we do feel uncomfortable, what do we do with it?
Yeah.
Today, you can piss me off. I may not even cock my head. You have to do a lot. But I've learned to be uncomfortable with something that's happening around me. Someone hurts my feelings. So here's something new that we can do as parents. Teach our kids to name it. Okay.
Let's do it.
God, that feels really shitty.
Yeah.
Jenny just broke up with, okay, that feels hurt. I feel, what's the name for it? Rejected. Yes. Okay. So sit in that for a second and then tame it. Like, what am I going to do with that? I'm not going to do anything with it. It's going to sit there.
There's the one.
It's going to sit. Claim it. Really just own it. Okay. This is life.
Yeah. It's claiming it first.
Yeah.
Yes. Then you're going to tame it.
Name it, claim it, tame it.
Yes. That's all good.
That's why you're the therapist.
It was too many rhymey words.
Right.
Okay. How are you going to then tame it? You claimed it by saying, this is it. I named it, basically.
Right.
Then how do you
then you claim it? But then you have to reframe it.
That's it.
Okay.
God.
Is this going to matter a year from now? And that's a very grown-up thing to say. I don't remember ever teaching my kids that. When something was really bad, saying, is this really going to matter 6 months ago? But maybe I made them think it was going to matter in 6 months. If they missed class or their grades weren't right or they weren't.
Stop it.
Right?
But doesn't it matter sometimes? How do you parent without teaching some consequence on the end of?
I don't know where the monkey in the middle is. I'm just so grateful that I'm now done.
No, but I love what you just said. Don't rub it in. Tell those 4 again, please.
Okay, so you name it.
Yeah. So I'm feeling sad.
Yeah, I'm feeling sad. Then you claim it.
Yeah. Oh, the sadness feels like shit, but I'm going to sit with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you tame it.
Oh, that's tougher.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like, you're not going to get to me. This is going to be for a half hour. It's going to go away.
You start to your cognitive voice, your self-talk. That's right. And then reframe it.
It's a lesson for me. It served me. I got to move on. But man, that takes a lot of work. I mean, I'm maybe over 50 and I can just now do that. These young kids, we have to keep on with that. And I think, well, we know after so much research, that is why suicide is the highest death
between 15 and 24. Yeah. And I think it's also a residual effect of so many things in our current culture, which it's,
I know
we're still studying it,
My gosh, if we can have one thing to be able to try and pass on, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. It is tough. But I liked your paradox earlier about, I was in the last episode about talking about all the beach balls in the pool. You have to get rid of the stressors.
Yeah.
Right? Either that or make your pool bigger and just sit with them.
Just
all right, I can handle one more.
Handle
another one.
Yeah. Well, you know how, Sandra, what did you used to call, it's the anchors, right? We're talking about like, how do you anchor yourself when you are sitting in your stress or you're sitting in your sadness, whatever they might sit in. And so what are some of your anchors that you use to kind of like bring yourself more present if you might be having anxiety? Because you have a good
now.
Yes, the ones that are working. We want to hear the good ones.
Well, yeah, I mean, like now, I guess when things become too overwhelming or too stressful, or if I feel anxiety coming on, it's just kind of like, I mean, I've just been learning how to break things down, right? Because everything, it's just when you look at stuff and it's so broad. And I mean, you're a therapist. When people come to you, you start to ask questions to narrow the situation down, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And also just kind of, breathing, movement, like if you've been sitting, stand up, move around, just kind of move the energy throughout your body.
Yeah, I love
that's good. So
people can be anchors too, by the way. So if you have people that are anchors for each other, places and practices are 3 ways you can have anchors.
Yeah.
And so, think of that.
And would you say practices being
breathing, walking, yoga, whatever that might be. And then, the people you should identify. We've talked about that, kind of like who are your 5 and places.
I think like really important, or like a takeaway that has helped me is like, you're not going to remember everything. You're not going to, in a moment of fear or sadness or anxiety, just quick, fast things that you can do, right? It's just stand up, move around, breathe.
Yes.
Focus on your hands or your feet. Those are things that you can feel, that you can ground yourself.
Yes.
And that it calms your body. There's like quick little exercises that you can do that it's going to make you feel a little bit more calm. Because the whole thing is, if you calm your system, then you can start to build the capacity to say, hey, I can do this.
That's
I can, move forward with this.
Right.
But it's the fact when you get caught in it and you're in the circle.
Oh, yeah. You're fighting or fleeing. And remember that frontal lobe is shut down. So what's beautiful about self-talk, which is, we said this in the car, like who should you spend the most time talking to? And it's really yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make you crazy. It makes you pondering behaviors and emotions. And you just like, wow. Like, and you get happy for yourself if you figure something out and you have an aha. Like, look in the mirror and say, like, that was good.
But it's like Mel Robbins and her high five.
Right.
I mean, I'm just going to go back to her all the time. She is great. You have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am good. You do. I don't care how cheesy it is.
It's wonderful.
I'm good. I got this. I deserve it. Is it the church lady that did that? I'm good
Saturday
enough
Night Live?
on Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't the church lady.
Who was it?
I don't remember.
No, that wasn't the church lady.
Yeah.
Somebody help us. Who was it?
But like what Sandra was saying, and I know we'll be having a wrap soon, if your body is, you start to feel the anxiety, that means already your frontal lobe is starting to close. So that self-talk that does talk us off the ledge and helps us regulate sometimes is already shutting down. So when you could normally say, oh my God, it's just a test, I'm going to be okay. Like that starts to shut down. Their self-talk doesn't even occur. And that's why people, like, it's all in their body at that point. So the moving and breathing are almost the most, if you're doing anything, you're remembering to breathe.
Yeah.
It is so important.
Exactly. There's so much breath work we could learn about. Have y'all taken any classes on the actual breath work?
Well, it's part of my class that I'm taking, but just I read all the book where they're saying, you should breathe in and out of your nose.
I know.
You're breathing
Even
in through your
taking
nose.
nostril sides.
And just, I think we talked about this, but posture, if you sit up
Hold
straight.
them back, ladies.
Because
Jamie's
when you're kind of
like, Jamie's always.
Well, and that's part of that frontal lobe, which I still find so fascinating,
So
is
cool.
the tone, the posture, your body language before you even begin a conversation. That's like the mom comes walking in or the dad and hey, and instantly the kid has shut down.
Frontal lobe off.
Yeah.
Dorsal vagal system. I mean, there's all kind of right. Polysympathetic system on. It's not good. Okay.
But just like to end on that note, it's like also like finding something that like having your safe place in your mind, right? Like it could be anything. And like this is the one thing that I've been trying to teach my daughter is like when you feel sad, when you feel depressed, you can't always reach me and, I'm not always going to be around, but what is your safe place? Where is it that you feel safe? And that could be thinking of a pet. It could be thinking of your favorite blanket, your sweater, or something that you wear that you feel so comfortable with.
Yes.
Because it's like hugging yourself. And like sometimes just thinking about those things when you get in that state can also help like regulate you. So,
yeah.
And those are just like, I like those things because they're quick and it's like, there are things that you can do yourself.
That's right. You're just in your little dorm room.
That's a good takeaway.
It's a very good takeaway.
Yeah. So I
have a question.
We should always have a question.
What's your favorite Stanley Cup?
Oh, what do y'all think about Travis and Tay?
There's cutes.
I think so
They're
too.
still together, right? Nothing happened.
Oh, yeah. He's headed to go see her in Australia. I mean, not that I know. I just heard that.
I just think they're adorable. But I
a couple lessons.
Taylor Swift.
A couple lessons in discussions with your daughter.
Oh, good one.
Travis had a little episode on the field.
Oh yeah,
got mad at the coach.
Was good that they were highlighting it.
Well, you know what? It's part of being human, isn't it?
I thought
there's not a perfect love. There's not a perfect couple. There's not a perfect partner. We're all going to make mistakes. And I think it's a learning thing. I don't know why I just thought about that.
Really good. We don't even have a question now. That's kind of the capper of it all.
No. What do you think about
who's our favorite Hollywood couple? No.
I can do that too.
Well, my son told me that in school, he's in 5th grade, that the teacher gave out a questionnaire on how do you think Taylor Swift is affecting football.
But that's a great essay question. If they were journaling, I think that's brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, we can find something.
Oh, yeah.
All right. What would you say, Miss Therapist?
Oh, like what's our journal question?
Yeah. How do you think that she's affecting football?
No. What do you think about Travis and Tay?
Oh,
we're on first name.
Yes, I think they're amazing, and I do hope I can get tickets to a concert soon.
We'll tag you.
Travis, you're really hot, and Gary knows I feel that way, so I'm just gonna have to you as one of my top 5. Anyway,
so they're just cute.
I think they're fine because I think who else would get each other but two people of that magnitude of wealth, fame, beauty, talent that just get each other, and I hope it works out. Although the odds are obviously against them because it's just a hard world to be like that.
Really? I think they're going to be great for sure.
Jennifer Lopez. And
No.
That kills me.
No, Patrick Swayze and his wife.
Oh,
Susan. Okay, see, I win. I'm telling you, I'm going to come back with a list. It's 50-50 people. I go with you're going to make it. Okay, we're going to call that a wrap. Y'all are great.
All right.
Adios.
Love you.
Thank you.